Has jihad reached America's shores? New details emerging in the case of Brendan Tevlin, a 19-year-old allegedly murdered in June by this man, Ali Muhammad Brown. At the time, investigators ruled it a random act. He was shot to death at a red light. But since then, Brown has told police he killed Brendan as revenge for U.S. military actions in the Middle East. Why haven't you heard of this case? Why hasn't it received more media attention? Joining us now with more details is radio talk show host Todd Pettengill. Todd, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Tucker.
I had not heard of this until I started getting emails from viewers about it. Why aren't you covering this?
Yeah, that was the outcry.
A virtual media blackout on this story.
Yeah, and I don't understand. Here's a guy who admitted personally that he was on a jihad and was laying in wake for someone who was alone, who didn't have any elderly people or women in the car with him, and he called it a just kill. And I read the details of the story, and I said, okay, I'm sure we're going to be hearing a lot about this, and no one talked about it. I do a music show, comedy music show on the radio. I'm not a talk show host. But I felt so compelled to say something and do something about it. I live in the area. I have a personal connection. I have a 19-year-old daughter who drives those streets. And I couldn't believe we weren't hearing about the story. So I just broke our format and talked for about 8 minutes.
Good for you.
And our listeners kept it going for about an hour and a half. Because once they heard the details of this story, we just let it go. And it became a talk show that morning.
And to be totally clear, the details of this case don't appear very confusing. So Brendan Tevlin was just at a light near Newark in New Jersey.
Yep.
And this guy apparently just walked up and executed him. It wasn't, they didn't know each other. There's no complex backstory here at all.
Exactly. And the word targeted was used early on, which I think was one of the big hot buttons for the family. Again, I only went on the air after talking to Brendan's mom to get permission to make sure it was okay with her to talk about it. But the word targeted suggests that he was doing something wrong.
Right.
That he was maybe involved in something he shouldn't have been. That couldn't have been further from the truth. That's not the case.
And this guy apparently shot a number of other people in Seattle, also randomly and also in the name of Islam. Here are some words he spoke to cops after being apprehended. This is from Ali Muhammad Brown. He said, "My mission is vengeance. Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, all these lives are taken every single day by America, by the government. So a life for a life." Whoa.
I mean, could it be any clearer?
But then the police department has appeared to me, just as reading the stories, pretty committed to writing this off as a robbery or an attempted, or they don't want to concede that there might be
Nothing was stolen.
An ideological point. Nothing was stolen.
Nothing was stolen. His cell phone was missing, but his wallet was still in the family car, where he was shot 8 times, pushed over. The car was then driven a couple blocks to an apartment complex. You know, at this point, it's about remembering Brendan Tevlin, and Good Vibes and Easy Living is his Facebook page that's been dedicated to him. And we just want to get the word out that here was a young man, 19 years old, who was simply killed for being an American.
What are his parents saying?
They're devastated, clearly. There's 3 other kids in the family. Oh, they really wanted it known. And that's where I felt compelled to say something, that he was a good kid. He was the kind of kid you hope your kid will be, to grow up to be.
Did the White House send 2 emissaries to his funeral?
I don't believe so.
Oh, they didn't?
I do not believe so, no.
Pretty telling. Thanks a lot, Todd.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Todd.
it coming on.